Now, Justin Russo has had some pretty interesting romances throughout the entirety of Wizards of Waverly Place. Some of his previous girlfriends include a goth, a centaur, a werewolf, and an angel. However, Justin's most memorable relationship has definitely got to be with his vampire girlfriend Juliet Van Heusen, who's played by the lovely and talented Bridget Mendler. Now, Justin and Juliet have always been my favorite couple in this entire show, besides Harper and Zeke. Gosh, I love those weirdos. Also, I do like Justin and Juliet a lot better than Alex and Mason because I feel like they had a much healthier relationship and they were just so much cuter together. Anyways, in today's video, I'm just going to be breaking down the relationship timeline between Justin and Juliet and giving my thoughts. Okay, so let's get started. So Justin and Juliet first met each other in the Season 2 episode, Wizards vs. Vampires on Waverly Place. In this episode, the Russo substation business gets some competition when a new sandwich shop opens up down the street. Mr. Russo then sends Justin over to spy on the competition. However, Justin quickly gets spotted by Juliet, who works at the sandwich shop alongside her parents. After Justin returns with all of the information he gathered from the rival sandwich shop, Mr. Russo concludes that Juliet's family are vampires, which was pretty obvious. I mean, they wore fangs, capes, and their sandwich shop was called the Late Night Bite. Man, I can't believe Justin didn't figure that out sooner. Listen, Justin is a smart guy, but he did have his not-so-smart moments, just like the rest of us. Anyways, as the episode progresses, Justin and Juliet become closer and closer. They even go on a date together. Now, quick tangent. If you watch this episode when it originally aired, and when you go back and watch it on Disney Plus now, you'll notice that they cut out the scene where Juliet is at her house preparing for her date with Justin, and you'll notice that they cut out the scene where Justin and Juliet stroll through the cemetery, and Juliet puts Justin under a sleeping trance when her friends approach her, because Juliet doesn't know that Justin knows that she's a vampire. Now, these scenes are not only missing on Disney Plus. I bought this episode on iTunes and the scenes are also missing on there too. The only place I could find the full episode with the missing scenes included was on a website called Dailymotion, which is also the website I use to go back and rewatch Every Which Way. Anyways, back to the topic of conversation. So Justin and Juliet's parents forbid the two lovebirds from hanging out with each other because the Russos and the Van Heusens have a rivalry going on. So this entire situation becomes the whole Romeo and Juliet thing, where Justin is Romeo and Juliet is Juliette. In case you're wondering, that's why the writers of the show gave Justin's girlfriend the name Juliette. It was after the classic Shakespeare character. Anyways, by the end of the episode, both families allow Justin and Juliet to date, and we get a happy ending. Much happier than the ending of the original Romeo and Juliet, for sure. Another tangent, I read Romeo and Juliet in my freshman year of high school, and the play was much shorter than I expected. Like, I cleared out my entire day, my entire schedule to finish up that book, and it only took me like 2 hours, 3 tops. It was really short. Anyways, over the course of the next few episodes, we see Justin and Juliet bond even further. Juliet inspires the Russos to live a healthier lifestyle in the episode Wizards vs. Vampires Tasty Bites. Juliet then invites Justin to go on a trip with her and her family in the episode Wizards vs. Vampires Dream Date. Then Juliet dances with the Russos and friends at the epic zombie prom in Wizards and Vampires vs. Zombies. We then move on to Season 3 where Justin and Juliet are still dating as shown in the episode 3 Monsters. Then in the episode Night at the Laserama, Justin and Juliet get trapped in a museum exhibit with the sky roof. This is a problem because once it turns morning, the sunlight will come through the sky roof and melt Juliet because she's a vampire and vampires melt in sunlight. Now, the only way for Juliet to stay alive is for her to become a minion of the evil mummy that's patrolling the museum. So she becomes a minion. Then the mummy releases her from the exhibit and Justin doesn't hear from her again until the Wizards vs. Werewolves special, where after searching for Juliet for months, Justin is about to give up, but then Mason says that he can track Juliet's location by using her scent because he's a werewolf and werewolves can do that. So Mason then sniffs Juliet's floss and gets her scent, then he tracks her location down to Transylvania, where Juliet is trapped behind a giant wall that's guarded by the mummy. The gang then defeats the mummy and free Juliet. As everyone rejoices, Mason declares his love for his ex-girlfriend Juliet, and I know because he's a werewolf, he's very impulsive, and he says he can't control that, but it was still wrong for so many reasons. I already mentioned how that affected Mason's relationship with Alex, but I never said how it affected Justin's relationship with Juliet. It causes Justin to be more protective over Juliet, and also to question whether or not he's good enough for her, which, yes he is, and Juliet thought so too because she ended up choosing Justin over Mason, and I would have done the same. Anyways, by the end of the episode, Juliet and Mason get into a huge brawl which ends with Juliet biting Mason and Mason scratching Juliet in return. This causes the end of both Justin's relationship with Juliet and Alex's relationship with Mason because Juliet physically turns into her true age, which is over 2,000 years old. Then Mason turns into a wolf, not a werewolf, an actual wolf. and then both of them walk off to the forest, and Alex and Justin don't hear from either of them for a while. Now we know Alex and Mason get back together by the end of the season. However, by the end of this season, Justin is still single and missing Juliette, as shown in the episode Moving On. Alex and Harper even convince Justin to move on from Juliette and start dating other people, and then by the end of the episode, he actually does. Now, while Justin is on his date, we see Juliette watching him from a distance with a smile on her face because she's glad that Justin moved on from her. Tangent, Mason could never. If Mason ever saw Alex on a date with another person while he and Alex were broken up, Mason would go ballistic. Let's be honest. Anyways, we don't hear from Juliette again until the very ending of Season 4. In the final episode of the Wizards of Apartment 13B saga, the Russo kids are facing off against a dark angel named Gorog, and Mason, who has joined Gorog's army, tries to convince Alex to join so that they can be together. However, Justin tells Alex not to cave in for love. That's when Gorog brings out Juliette, then Justin immediately caves in for love and joins Gorog's army alongside Juliette and Mason. Alex joins soon after, then Max does as well. Now while Gorog collects their wands, and just when he thinks he's defeated the Russos once and for all, they come together and use some serious hand magic to defeat Gorog once and for all. By the way, the hand magic thing was a throwback to Season 1 where the kids use hand magic more than they use their wands. Anyways, Gorog's spell over everyone goes away and everyone celebrates, including Justin and Juliette, who are now together forever, and this time, I mean it. Another tangent. So I was on some Wizards of Waverly Place online forums a while ago, and then I saw someone who watched the series finale, and then they asked, why did they bring Juliette back just for the finale? The answer is they didn't, and clearly you haven't been keeping up with the show because Juliette's return was perfectly explained 3 episodes before the finale. Anyways, that's my video. I love talking about the show so much. I'm a super fan. I just love it when people care about the things that they create. And you could tell that the writers, the producers, everyone involved in the show really cared about it. Because they make this whole intricate wizard world full of all of these characters. I just really love this show. Now I'm gonna go off on another tangent, but this is the end of the video, so I guess it's okay. Now my New Year's resolution was to upload longer videos because you guys deserve it. Also, thanks to you guys, my channel is now monetized, which means now I'm getting paid to make these videos. So yes, I will have ads on my videos from now on, which I know will inconvenience you, but be glad because your boy's making money. Also, thank you guys so much for all of the continued love and support, and I can't believe I'm getting paid to talk about Wizards of Waverly Place. What a world we live in. Also, January 6th is the 9-year anniversary of the Wizards of Waverly Place series finale, and I'm gonna try really hard to get this video out on that day. Also, the 10-year anniversary of the Hannah Montana series finale is on January 16th, and hopefully I can do something for that. And hopefully I'll be on time, because I really want to do something for that. Okay, anyways, I'm done for real. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye!